In this video, we're going to have a closer look on the ways in which you can set the properties of your chart in Empower and how you can create legends. I've already prepared some exemplary charts to show you the options that you have in the Properties menu. By clicking on the chart, the action bar appears above it. And right here in the action bar, you can find the Properties menu. In the Properties menu, you can set the default font size and bar width of your chart. So you can change the font size, for example, a little bit bigger. And as you can see, it is changed throughout the whole chart. Or you can change the width of your bars. And as you can see, these changes are applied to your whole chart. If there is a line in your chart, you have the possibility to adjust your line settings right here. For example, you can interpolate missing values. And if I switch this option on, the two data points are connected automatically. Moreover, I can choose if my line should be smooth or not. So this is what my line looks like if I don't switch on the Smoothen Line option. I can also define if markers should be shown at all. And now let's have a closer look on the possibilities of how I can create a legend. Right now, I have no legend in my chart. I can use the PowerPoint native positions of my legend. For example, I can put it below my chart. But I could also integrate the legend into my chart so that it is easier for the eye to see which series title belongs to which column or line. If I have a very small chart, for example right here, and I want to use a legend, the legend would make my chart even smaller. And in this case, it can be very useful to position my legend outside of my chart. And now I can click on my legend and move it around freely and put it anywhere I want. I can format my legend in the overlay menu that is popping up right above it. I can format my font size, font color, and so on. I can also reverse the legend entry order so that it changes. And I can also rearrange my legend entries, for example horizontally, or change it back to vertically. Right here, I have the possibility to change the position of my legend once again and put it, for example, back into my chart or delete it, and so on. Moreover, by clicking on the color box that represents my series, I can also change the color of my whole series, for example to a lighter blue, or use a pattern if I want that, and define the border color of my columns. But let's go back to this chart. As you can see, we have two series here that are displayed as columns and one series that is displayed as a line. The series of Department C that is displayed as a line uses a secondary value axis. And because this is the case, we can adjust the settings for our vertical value axis and for a secondary vertical value axis in the Properties menu. If I would only have one value axis, this option would not be displayed. By clicking right here, I can choose if my value axis should be shown. So I'm going to switch both value axes on so you can see what this looks like. And here you have the options to choose if you want to reverse your axis direction. You can set the minimum or maximum value and define the steps of your value axis. Here you can define if a horizontal category axis should be shown or not. And you could also insert a chart title right here. The function Apply to all Empower charts on slide can be very useful when you're working with multiple charts on one slide. So if I click on one chart, go to the Properties menu, I have the options to use the same font size for all the charts on this slide, and I can also use the same scale and size for all the charts on my slide. So as you can see, right here we have, for example, the value of 100, which is displayed in this chart as a column that is this big. But in this chart, 100 is displayed as a much smaller column, and in this chart even a lot bigger. If you want your charts to be more comparable, you can use the Apply to All Empower Charts on Slide, same scale and size. And as you can see, now all the columns that display the value of 100 have the exact same size and are much easier to compare. Let's move on to the next slide. We have prepared another chart. You have the possibility to change the customizing right here. So if your company uses several customizings, you can change them right here. But there's another video that covers the whole topic of customizing while working with charts in Empower. In some rare cases, you might, for example, change the color of this column to a color that is not part of your custom design. And you can do this by entering the manual edit mode. Simply click right here in the Properties menu, and your chart can be freely formatted right now. Keep in mind that Excel links are not updated, and when you exit the manual mode once again, some of the formatting may be lost, especially concerning the data labels. But you can have a closer look at the manual for the details, and for example, colors can be changed very easily in the manual mode. Simply click on the element you want to change, and right here I have a lot of options to change my chart. And if I want to change the fill color of this column, I can click on Fill and Line and select any color that I want. For example, this purple. But I'm not going to explain the manual mode in more detail because this is a very rare case. So just close this and click on the Properties menu once again to exit the manual edit mode. And as you can see, this change is kept, and this bar is now purple, which is not part of the corporate design color palette of my current customizing. If you select Reset Point Colors and Borders in the Properties menu, the colors and borders of the current chart are reset to the default set in the customizing. This function and the option to redraw your chart that you have right here can be very useful for problem solving if you have, for example, worked with the manual mode and now your chart looks strange or not the way you wanted it to look. Hopefully this video helped you to understand the numerous possibilities that you have to adjust the properties and legends of your charts in Empower. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.